Hey guys, David with Leisure Concepts. We're going to run through the CoverMate Vanish collection today. We're going to specifically go over all three lifts utilizing the XLRP. So you have your CoverMate Vanish XL, your XLR, and your XLRP for your plus size spas. We're going to be installing this lift today on a J475. The first thing you want to do after you get everything unboxed is you always want to install your EAS handle on the cover mounting bracket first. First thing you want to do, get that thing installed. Secondly, when you get your measurement on the cover, depending on your spa size and your radius and the lift you're actually utilizing, make sure you get that marked on the spa so you know where you're going to be attaching the bracket. When you get your 3M weld glue, you want to put the glue on both surfaces. The vertical surface is very important, as is the pads here. Don't be bashful with the glue. Go ahead and put it in place, spread it around. If you get too much glue on your bracket, when you're away from the spa, you can move the bracket around a little bit, disperses some of that glue. But go ahead and make sure you get glue all over. If you have the older packets, come in the little tubes, you want to use 2 tubes per side. We also have a bigger bottle that we're going to be including in the future, but make sure you utilize enough glue. When you put the bracket on, firmly hold it in place. You want to hold it in place for about 45 seconds. Put downward pressure on the bracket into the cover and let it adhere really well. This one I already pre-glued on this side, so it's ready to go. On your XLRP, it's glued on at 12 inches. Next thing you want to do is you want to get your Vanish box out of the box. You have a left and right side. First thing you want to do is install the ball stud bracket. You also have a left and right side ball stud bracket that goes in. There's 5 screws that attach that. Once you get that in place, find your left and right side pivot arms and your silver Allen bolts. You also want to find these spacers. So these spacers go in first, bigger ones on the bottom, these ones on the top. Your rear pivot arm sits in here. This actually goes from the back side up on the back. So when you install this, you want to make sure you have a washer on the back side because you're on the plastic side. Slide that through. This is going to hold your cover plate. When you put this on, you'll see here there's a thread. This goes on here so that you can attach your nylock nut. Go ahead and put that in place, and then put your front pivot arm on. The front pivot arm bolt goes the opposite direction. The Allen nut faces outside through, and on the back side is going to be your washer and your nylock nut on the back. Once you get those in place, in step 2, we'll tighten everything up. On your Vanish XL, please find your rubber bumper in the kit. You're also going to want to locate your self-drilling screw. Take your measurement on the front pivot arm at 7 1/4 inches and drill through the aluminum and attach your 1 rubber bumper on your Vanish XL. On your XLR and your XLRP, it comes with a second bumper. The second bumper lives on the back pivot arm and it touches the front. That really helps keep the cover from touching the ground depending on the size, and shouldn't have any problems. All right guys, so now that we've actually tightened up our pivot arms into the Vanish box, it's very critical that you don't over tighten these 2 points. You want to make sure that your pivot arms move freely. Again, it's nice when you tighten it up. Go ahead and back it off about 1/4 of a turn. Again, you do not want this to be bound up. You really want the cover to move through its range of motion. So this is put together. On the back side of your Vanish XLR, XLRP, there's a piece of foam on here that already helps you indicate where this lines up on your corner radius. That's nice too. So with that, I actually flipped the cover over so you have both top surfaces touching. Bracket's already glued on, and when I glued the bracket on, I actually used a little bit of 3M glue and I glued on my little plastic spacers. It's very important on your Vanish XL, which is the traditional style one. You have 2 plastic spacers that are going to live in between the powder coated aluminum. On this XLRP, you actually have 2 plastic spacers per pivot arm. So you have 4 per side on this guy. When you put this on, when it's on upside down, you can align this up in place when it's already glued together. Makes it a little easy, kind of a little tip and trick. You always want to have your Allen bolt going from the front to the back. Go ahead and slide that in place. On the back side, you're going to have your washer and your nylock nut on both of them. Once you have that in place, it's also very critical. Again, you do not need to over tighten anything. You never really want to tighten down your Allen bolts too tight. Just get them so that you have the cover tight, but it allows the cover to move through its range of motion. All right, guys, so step number 3, go ahead and close your cover back on the spa so you have the lift system right where it needs to be. Everything's lined back up. You can see here how this moves so freely. Pivot arms are not bound up at all. Moves here, this is not over tightened, this is not over tightened. When you raise your Vanish box up, you'll see the foam is going to align with your corner radius. You need to put pressure down on the top of the cover as you lift this up into place so you're not lifting the upper part of the cover away from the spa. When you do that, you can use your knee, anything you have to really hold it in place. You want to get your number 10 by 1.5 screws, and you want to go ahead and adhering your cover, your Vanish box to the side of the spa. Go ahead and pre-install some of those screws, get everything put together, and once you do that, then we'll go ahead and open up your spa. All right, guys, so now that we have the Vanish box installed on the side, you want to hit all the screws that you can hit and you can see. Then you want to open up your cover lift system. The pivot arm will expose some additional holes behind here that you want to hit. You don't have to go way into the back of the corner radius, because on the new XLR, XLRP, we're going to have a new filler piece that you're also going to install. Really helps hold the back of the Vanish lift snug to the corner radius. Also aesthetically looks a lot better. It's also recessed for if your spa has the lights. After you get that installed and all the screws installed, you're going to want to go ahead and put on your shock. One of the things you want to always make sure is the strut body faces the front. Never want to install the shock this way. The body will come in contact with the pivot arm. Again, your front of the body needs to be here. Go ahead and snap that into place. Easily open up your cover just a little bit so that you can attach the back part. You can just lift it up nice and easy, snap it in place. Now your shock's installed. Okay, guys, one of the last steps in installing your CoverMate Vanish lift system. On this XLRP, we've also included a nice new filler piece. It's also got a little radius in it so it will live over the light system if your spa has the light. One of the things, the Vanish box is not pre-drilled. So in there, you're gonna get some of these drilled style number 10 screws. You can put 2 or 3 in, however many you want. One of the things that I always do is line up the bracket, the filler piece, get it put in. You can see here it's barely exposed on the back side, fits really well right next to this pivot. Pre-drill these so you can see where you're gonna line that up. When you do that, already install the 3 black screws on the back side here, and then come back after you did your pre-drill, put this back in, and go ahead and hit your filler piece. So there you go, we're right in there into the filler. I'm gonna just put 2 in here, nice and easy. You're all set. Your CoverMate Vanish lift system is all installed. Now you can motion your cover. All right, guys, now that we're done installing the CoverMate Vanish system, we installed this on the J475. This is your XLRP. It's time for your consumer to enjoy it. Cover opens very freely. Super easy on and off. Very easy for the customer. Unobstructed view. They get a chance to really see the beautiful part of the spa. Again, super easy on-off operation.